What's up, YouTube? Curtain6693 here to bring you gaming anime news, as well as anything that I find interesting. Today, I want to talk about my views on the Xbox One and my take on the DRM policies and the recent changes that they've had, and things like that. So, basically, just Xbox One in general. So, Xbox One has been getting a lot of negative feedback because of the DRM policies and the used games, internet checkup every 24 hours. You can only play on your friend's console for like an hour or some shit like that. Um, so, they got a lot of negative feedback. In response to that, they removed the DRM policies. Or at least they said there's going to be a software patch on the day one. Well, basically, when you load up your console, you have to have internet when you first boot it up and stuff, so they can remove the DRM. I think that's what they said. I'm not sure if they changed it or not, but yeah. Then the headset is they say they want to come with a headset. They're working on maybe having building an adapter for it, but you may have to pay for it. And then they said no, we're gonna have a headset, which they showed in the unboxing of the Xbox One. Now, this is what I want to talk about. The whole concept of the DRM policy and what I think they were trying to do. I do think that Microsoft is a multi-billion-dollar. Of course, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and I do think that they some of the things they said were they pretty much made it clear that they're just out for money. Like when apparently Dan Matrick, or whatever his name is, Don Matrick, the guy who left for Zynga, the president who left for Zynga, he said that if you can't keep up with if you can't use the full potential of the Xbox One, if your internet connection's not all that, if you don't have the money for it, then there is a system out there for you. It's called the Xbox 360. Now, he said that in quote. IGN has said it. A bunch of YouTubers have said it. They found articles have said it. I've read it. That's what he said. So he pretty much said a lot of people have taken it as an FU to the gaming community. But let me say, but I'm gonna get to the meaty part, which I really, really want to talk about. Is the used games. They had a thing where you could only certain retailers will allow you to trade in their games, or have used games, trade games, stuff like that. And a lot of people were pissed off about that. And I know they had a family sharing plan, like up to 10 people, you can play each other's games. I don't know, shit like that. But what I really want to talk about is why I think they had to DRM policy. And I think what they were trying to do with cutting out the used games was to cut out the middleman, cut out the retail stores, the GameStop, because as we all know, GameStop is a money-making retail store corporation, and they're evil. I think I've heard some news around today that they're being sued because they basically would sell used games and lie about them having DLC, and they were pretty much still ripping people off. But basically, it's GameStop because it's for some of you guys who don't know much about gaming, when the publisher makes games, they only get profit from the new game sales. Anytime that someone trades the game in and it becomes used, that profit is straight to the retailer. And if if they have a $60 game, like let's say Grand Theft Auto 5, it comes out $59, right? About 3 or 4 weeks later, or a month later, after some people played it, they traded it in. Which, in my opinion, damn, who would trade in GTA 5 at least that early? Because there's so much to do in GTA 5. But what was I going to say? They trade it in, it becomes used, and they say it goes down like $5, which ain't shit, But they'll drop it down like $5. That $55 that someone pays for goes straight to GameStop. It's straight profit. The publishers do not see any of that. And that's the biggest problem because the gaming balance, the community balance, is being offset by that. A lot of the publishers or development companies go out of business, or at least either that, or they have a tough time making the cut because of this. Because so many people buy used games, and I don't think it's a consumer's fault because we don't not all of us have $60 to bang out every time. I rarely get $60 games. I will be getting a lot this coming next couple of months because there's a lot of big titles like Splinter Cell. Huge Splinter Cell fan. Assassin's Creed 4. I have played them all. Or I've owned them all at some point. I'll say. I traded some in, but I'm gonna rebuy them when they get cheaper. Um, what was I gonna say? Assassin's Creed, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, GTA 5. I think Watch Dogs is coming out later. There's a lot of titles that I want. You know, um, but what was I gonna say about the used games? Is GameStop. It's a retail stores that are causing the problem. And I think what the DRM policy for the Xbox One was trying to do was that they were trying to cut that out. That way, the publishers could get their big cut of the money, and it would balance things out. And then perhaps they wouldn't have to charge us $60 for a game, since more of the profit is going to them. Or at least I guess that's what their vision was. Um, that's what their big vision was. But I think what went wrong is they sold it to us wrong. The way they had it was like, oh, you have all the restrictions. You can't trade in used games. You got to have interchange. They didn't tell us why. Is what I'm saying. They didn't try to explain to us. It's because we're trying to get rid of GameStop. So that way, publishers can get more of a cut. They're able to do more, and maybe that'll be good for you in the long run. That way, maybe we can cut down on games, cut down on DLC. Maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Basically, it'll help everyone out. In the long run. Which I'll be kind of honest. Like for instance, like Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 would have never gotten made if it wasn't for Nintendo pretty much funding the money for Sega. So, the game got good reviews, but it probably just didn't sell enough to get Sega out of their financial crisis, which I've said in another video. But maybe if they had gotten more sales, or at least gotten the top part of those used game sales, because I bought my game used, because that's all the game's old now, that's all they had. So it ain't my fault. So, but basically, yeah, because they weren't seeing a lot of the money that's being made from the used game sales. Thing is, my solution would have been, and if you guys are into the gaming business, and you guys can correct me on this, but why have they not made a policy to where every time profit is being made from a game title, whether it's new or used, every time money goes from your pocket to the register, and they make profit off a game title, part of that proceeds do not go to the game publishers, new or used. If it's new, part of that goes to the game publishers. But why not, if it's used, maybe GameStop and the publishers can come to an agreement like, okay, you have this title right here. You have this title right here. When since it's a new sale, you get part of the profit. But when it's a used sale, we'll give you this much. So that way, you're still getting change, pocket change, every time the game gets a profit, even if it's used. And I think, me personally, I think that'll be a great idea. That way the publishers can at least get some extra pocket change on top of whatever they make. On top of whatever they make, either do that or have it to where when they have new game sales, that the publishers get a bigger cut of the new game sales, and then the GameStops can have the used game sales. But basically, the publishers take most of the new games. I don't know. My views could be completely faulty, or they may not be the best way. But I'm just saying there has to be a way to balance this out without getting rid of used games. And that's my biggest thing. I wish there was a policy to where every time there is a transaction being made, there's profit being made off a product, that part of the money goes to the publisher, whether it's new or used. Used, pre-owned, whatever you want to call it. Every time money is being made and it's profit, GameStop has to scoot some of that change over to the publisher, and I think that would solve a lot of problems. Because GameStop they're pretty much, they give you shit trading value. The only time they give you good trading value is if they have like a 50% extra store trading credit. And I've even heard some people comment that their 50% trading credits that they've been having recently, or they had a couple of weeks ago, is what should have been the standard to begin with. They do that. And I've also heard that one game developer went off on GameStop because he tried to buy a new game, and they gave him a used game and sealed it up like a new game. That way, all the profit goes to them. And he called them on it. He called them out on it, and he told them that they're actually hurting the game industry by doing that. There's a lot of shady business shit that goes on with GameStop. And I think another big problem is there really is a lot of big competition to GameStop also. at least where I am, from where I'm from. I mean, there are other game stores like, but they're not as Best Buy and Walmart, but they're not real competitors. You know, GameStop is really the forefront. It was what I'm saying. They're the big boys, the real big boys, and that allows them to have much more freedom. You know, with what they want to do. I mean, but the thing is, they're already sitting on $10 billion. I looked it up the other day. You know, their total revenue or assets, whatever you want to call it, it's like almost, it's in the billions. It's high. They got money. You know, and they don't want to split or at least take a little bit of take change of that and just scoot it over to give to the to publishers, because without the publishers they wouldn't even have a sale, you know. And that's the biggest problem. And I think that Microsoft saw that and they were trying to cut it out. But I think that it was just too early. I think that it's too early to have internet checkups to where we move to a totally digital age. Now, I know there are a lot of users out there who use Steam, you know, who do the whole Steam network thing. But I still feel that at least for consoles, you know, I think we're at least a generation too early for that. Why? There's just so many factors. Like, you go out of town, your hotel doesn't have internet, or it sucks. It's sucky internet. You know. What if you're like you said, in the army, you just moving around all the time? What if you're in a third world country where you just maybe you don't have internet at all, or maybe you seldom have it. You know. What if an electrical storm comes to your neighborhood, takes out your electrical line, and nobody has power, or at least you don't have you don't have Wi-Fi for a little bit. You know, what happens when you can't pay your internet bill? You know, on top of paying for a $500 console plus the games and the gold and all the extra shit they have to make you pay for. You know, I'm saying shit gets expensive. You know, and I think that what they were ultimately trying to do was good, but I think they sold it to us wrong. And also they pretty much they did slap us in the face. They did, which is why I'm getting a PS4. Now, I think I've said in another video that I think the main drawing point of who's going to get the Xbox One versus who's going to get the PS4 comes down to what are you looking for in the console. If you are more of a gamer and you like the gaming features, like PS4, I'll do a brief run through. PlayStation Plus Online, required to use multiplayer online, but without it, you can use Hulu, Netflix. There's great, if you get PlayStation Plus, you have great gaming, great game exclusives. Like, you get free games all the time. You have party chat whether you have PlayStation Plus or not. There's a feature where you're able to watch your friends play games and even help them out in some parts. I don't know. They haven't really gone much into that detail about that, but I would love to see them talk about that more. Basically, PS4 is for gaming. They've even said that it is for gamers. They don't give a shit about taking a living room, or at least to a certain degree. They care about giving you the games. But if you're a person who wants an entertainment console, an all-in-one console, you want to be able to stream games, you want to be able to watch it, which you can on PS4, but the Xbox One is for a bunch of media, entertainment, TV, a lot of different features, things of that nature. If you're more into that stuff, like where you like entertainment as a whole instead of just gaming, then Xbox One is for you. But here's what I think. I think the PS4, as far as gaming and as far as the experience, I do think the PS4 will win as far as the gaming experience. But I think as far as the entertainment, like being able to do different things, I would say the Xbox One may get a few punches in on that one. That's why I think where it stands. I do think that ultimately, even though Microsoft they're money whores, but I do think that what they had in mind, I think one of their goals for the Xbox One, as far as the DRM policy, I think what they're trying to go for was not totally bad, but I just think their execution was wrong, and which is why they got such negative feedback. And there has been talks, especially lately, about them being unfairly judged and stuff like that. Well, no, they weren't unfairly judged. They fucked up, and people got on their ass about it. They were not unfairly judged. Bullshit. That's pretty much what happened. They fucked up, and they paid for it, and then on top of it, they said "fuck you," So no, they didn't get unfairly judged. I think what happened was they thought they were going to be able to get away with it, and pretty much say, oh, they're gonna buy the console. As long as we slap a Halo on there, they'll be fine. But people said, no, fuck you. We're not gonna pay for your console if you're gonna fuck us around. Because I'm sorry, but one, I don't give a damn how I don't, because I'm not a big Halo fan. Not much of a Call of Duty fan either. I have Call of Duty behind me, Black Ops 2, but I'm not honestly, I'm not a first person shooter fanatic. That's what I'm saying. I know they call it the hardcore genre, but I'll get to that later. Actually, I'll make another video about that. I'm going to talk about different game genres. I'll make another video about that. But basically, as far as the Xbox One, as long as you slap a Halo on there or Call of Duty, they'll be fine. People say no because I'm sorry, but not one or two good games don't make a console. Like for instance, Dead Rising 3 is going to be on Xbox One. Right, and I like the first Dead Rising, and I didn't really like what they did with the story in the second and all the spin-offs. I thought they got too gimmicky and just too silly. Even though I know it's meant to be that way, but I thought it went in a direction that I didn't like. And I like how Dead Rising 3 has a more serious tone to it, and I like how the game looked, and I also like how that Rise game looked. The Total War Rise, the Rome 300 Gladiator shit. The only have one minor complaint about that game is that it looks like every kill ends in a quick time event. But that's something else. But basically, I like how the games look. But I'm sorry, but that doesn't convince me to get an Xbox One. I'm not gonna spend $600 on a console and gold and a controller and all that shit to have two games, which I'm gonna maybe play for a month and then move on. And I'm not saying that may be the case, but you see my point though, right? Now, if a console has 5 or 6 games, off the top that I know that I really want to play, then yeah, okay, I like this console. And what's funny for me personally is a lot of the games that are coming out that I want, like such as Mirror's Edge, Kingdom Hearts, maybe Star Wars Battlefront, and just some other titles, Infamous Second Son, and you already know they're gonna do some more Uncharted. I hope they port Last of Us over. Like I said, some of those bigger titles, of course they will. I want to play those games. I don't have a PS3, and I want to play. I want to play God of War. I want to play Infamous. I want to play Beyond Two Souls, and I want to play Heavy Rain. I want to play those games. Those games look amazing, but some of them are multi-platform. I think Mirror's Edge is going to be at 363, Xbox One, and PS3. Oh, PS4, sorry. They said Kingdom Hearts is going to be multi-platform. A lot of games that I want are multi-platform. So when it comes down to me deciding what console I want, is which console I feel has better features toward what I want. I get to tab Party Chat now without having gold or having a subscription. And also I can use Hulu, Netflix. I play a lot of single player games. I love games with a great story and great gameplay. I don't always have to play with someone else. You know what I mean? I've been kind of on my own for the past few days on Xbox anyway. Just playing a lot of games. Just playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Bayonetta, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Call of Duty. Well, Call of Duty, I play a lot on that, but I haven't been talking to many people. So I don't always. So that means if I don't feel like paying if I don't have the money for Plus, for a couple weeks or so, that's fine. I can still do all my shit on there. I just can't play online. I can handle that. I can do that. And I know a lot of people are making complaints about. About you having to pay for multiplayer online. But let me tell you something. As an Xbox 360 player, we've been paying for it for years now, so it ain't nothing new to us. Also, you're still getting a better deal because you only cannot play online. You can do everything else. So the way I see, and most of you probably have Plus anyway. Most of you probably have already been using it because it gives you free games anyway. You're still getting your money's worth. So stop playing it. Stop complaining. I mean, yeah, okay, you got to pay for to play online now. But they're doing that is so they can get more money so they can give you a better service. Because we all know the PS3 suffered at the beginning of its lifespan because it was really expensive. There really weren't a lot of games on it. And, and it was just better on Xbox. It was just better on Xbox. And then this time they're trying to change that. So that's why they're doing that. But yeah, but overall, that's my thoughts on the whole console war. I am getting a PS4. I don't know if I'm going to get it for Christmas, but I will definitely get one by next year. Especially once more games come around. Will I get an Xbox One? I've already said yes. Just not. I will get it when it gets cheaper. I will definitely get it when it gets cheaper. When I see how the console does over a period of time, I may get one. This next gen, I will have both consoles. Would I get a Wii U? No. Now if I have a girlfriend, if I get a girlfriend, or I go out with someone and she has a Wii U, then yeah, I'll play it. Cause I really want to play Bayonetta 2. I really do. And don't get me wrong, I will. I mean, I'm not a big Mario Luigi fan, but I like Super Smash Bros. I like that, so I may hop on that. But we'll see, we'll see. So let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like Microsoft's vision of the DRM policies and cutting out GameStop was a good idea? Do you think they executed it well? Which, judging from the remastered sponsor, I guess not. But you let me know how you guys think individually. How do you feel about the PS4? How do you feel about everything in general? Rate, comment, frame, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. If I missed anything, if I got something wrong, let me know. Because a lot of my videos that I make, I pretty much talk off the top of my head. I think of a topic, and I kind of put together, and I just go on. So I may mess something up, get something wrong, leave something out. It happens. I'm not perfect. So if I miss something, comment, let me know, and I'll get back to you. I'll correct myself. If there's anything that I haven't talked about that you guys want me to look at, please let me know. Link me with an article. Tell me to look up this. Tell me to do that. I will do it. But thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Curtain 693 out.